So hello everybody, welcome to Jeannie Yoga and You, today's yoga. And this is a little unusual because this is a bed. So one thing that's really nice for me about creating these short videos so regularly is I feel like I can download all the things that I've been taught over the years. I've been taught a lot of things by yoga teachers and also by practitioners who support yoga teachers. So I'd like to teach this to you because this is basically yoga. And I would recommend that if you have a sore back, a sore lower back, or you tend to be tight in the hips, that you do this every morning. It takes a couple of minutes. You can train yourself to do it before you move very much. That's when to do it. Also during the day, you can come and do it as a kind of quiet inward time. And before you go to sleep, gently as well, especially if you wake up with quite tight hips, which some people do. So you could do it in bed because that's probably where you're going to end up doing it. So coming to a bed, this is mine, and just laying back in bed. So you've got your legs bent, got your hair in such a way that it's not going to get in the way for you, and your legs are bent. The feet are on the mat on the bed. And to begin with, we're just going to, and I'll show you. And I'll describe it. So you're just going to have your hands, possibly one hand on top of the other, on the abdomen is a good way to do this. It really kind of to center you and bring you there. And then we're simply going to, and it's imperceptible. So imagine you just woke up and this is what you would be doing, as though you had a bowl of water. I'll turn that way for the bowl of water. And you're slightly tipping the pelvis one way, slightly tipping the pelvis the other way, but not to spill any water. And the water is near the edge of the bowl. Okay, so it's a back and forth tipping to begin with, and you won't even be able to see it. Even if I was laying on a mat, you wouldn't see it. Just slightly tipping one way, slightly tipping the other way. So it's the idea of the tip, tipping one way, tipping the other way. And the smaller you can make this movement, the more you get into the fluid body. And if we can move the fluid around the body, then basically there's amazing healing agents in the fluid. And we begin to heal the joints. We begin to reactivate systems that might be slow. I mean, your hands will be resting. Mine are just showing this really slight tip one way, tip the other way. And you're not spilling any of the water in the bowl. And you could just rest the hands or keep them here. And it's quite nice here because you can feel. And see if you can make the movement smaller. So I'm looking at you, talking to you, but you would be looking up, keeping the neck in alignment, and just going one way, going the other way. And there's like nowhere to go with this. There's no rush, but it's absolute nectar for the system. And if you can remember before you even roll out of bed or even worse, sit up in bed, in that unyogic way, before you do any of that, if you can stay in bed just a couple of minutes longer, just take the tiniest, it's like an undulation one way, undulation the other way, tiny, tiny movements. And then you're bringing that bowl to settle. So the bowl is settled. And now the tipping is going from side to side. So it's a slight tip in one direction. And then even as I move now to show you, it's too big. So slightly tipping to one side, slightly tipping to the other side. You'll be looking straight ahead. You might have the eyes closed. There's a lot of sweetness in this area of the body. It's quite deep. There's often held memory, and there can be held muscle memory, and there can be something to release sometimes. And people report joy. So you just tip one way, sideways, tip to the other side. And it may feel a little rusty. I can feel which tip is a little rusty. And you just intention it. Go in one direction, go in the other direction. And remember that mouth that we open and don't shake the pelvis. Just shake the jaw. Because we're going real gentle with the pelvis one way and the other way. And really, if you do this when you first wake up or during the day if you get tight, you're washing the joints with fluid. You can feel it. You're just moving. There's like a tide moving one way, a tide moving the other way. And it's this fluid in the body that is a healing agent. And what happens sometimes is we get dry. We start to dry out a little, all kinds of reasons. So you're just tipping sideways one way, sideways the other way. And then returning to center, and you can have the hands however they feel comfortable. Let the soft belly fall back. And then now tiny, and I mean tiny, the knees start to go in one direction. It's just an infinitesimal twist. So it's much, much smaller than you do in a yoga class. Much, much smaller. We don't want to involve the big muscles and the bones. We want to give the fluid a new pathway and then going in the other direction. And even as I talk to you, I'm softening my eyes. Your eyes might be closed. So the legs go in one direction. And this is magic, right? This is really magic. Make it smaller. Make it even smaller. And the other direction. I'm almost being too big in my movements just to show you something on screen. Going one way and going the other way. And sometimes you feel referred sensation, like I can feel this in my forehead a little. It's the fascia. It's the fluid moving through the body. It's also the fascia, which is very alive. The tissue the one piece of tissue that covers everything. And there's an enlivening going on, and it's going everywhere. You can hear my stomach gurgling, which is also a sign of release, or you could be hungry. But if you're not hungry, it's a release. Check the head is somewhere free, the hair is not impairing anything. And then just going one way, going the other way. Relax the jaw. Relax that area as well above the upper lip. And the chin. Relax the chin. Tiny movements. And really you can do this for as long as you like. I'm just demonstrating a reasonable length of time for someone with a busy day. And then you come back to center. And very lightly, because it's a big movement after all these movements, draw one leg up. Just gather one leg in lovingly. Gather the other leg in lovingly. And squeeze the knees. And I would recommend feet and knees side by side if that's comfortable. Draw in. So I'm looking at you, but you'll be looking up. Maybe the eyes are closed. Check the neck. And then just breathe into this really beneficial yoga posture. And if the front of the hips do feel tight, breathe into them. The hip flexors, they give way. They just give way at some point. It helps to have a certain diet that's not too heavy in toxins, but they will just give way. You just breathe into them. And then now we're going to roll over onto the side. And then when you feel ready, pushing up and beginning your day. So that was as if it was morning. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye for now.